Been there, done that, no fuck that, let's get back. We going up, ain't no looking back. We going up, ain't no looking back. Been there, done that, no fuck that, let's get back. We going up, ain't no looking back. We going up, ain't no looking back.
Welcome to another episode on JAH-ACE TV. Subscribe, like, and share. Salute. Yeah, once again, it's a pleasure to be able to, come and vibe with the peoples and, exchange some positive energy and bring forth, some real substance. I often just think about like a lot of the abuse that takes place within the departments of corrections. And I just never forget like the young man Kalief Browder and how they abused him down there on Rikers Island, how they beat him and how he suffered so much on a mental and a physical level. And I know some people may have forgotten about him, but I'm somebody who I'll never forget him. Here it is. He's a young man, a young adolescent, and he gets locked up for allegedly stealing a book bag. And so he allegedly supposed to have took a book bag and then end up doing 3 years on Rikers Island. So if you know about Rikers Island, a day on Rikers Island is tough. So imagine being on Rikers Island for 3 years. So the amount of abuse that happened with him, not just by him fighting and getting into it with other prisoners, but the way he was abused and beat by the correctional officers on Rikers Island. So for those that don't know, C-74, which was a known housing area on Rikers Island for adolescents, 16 to 18-year-olds for many years. And that changed within the last few years. That changed, but all that changed due to what happened to Kalief Browder and how it hit the mainstream. So it went viral on his abuse and everything, and it made the powers that be get involved when they removed all the adolescents from Rikers and moved them to Horizons in the Bronx. But it took him to lose his life, years later, as he came home from doing 3 years on Rikers Island and getting abused and beat, and how it affected him mentally, physically, and emotionally. When he did come home, he was no good anymore. The system took its toll on him, so he committed suicide. And he's one of the individuals that we could speak about, but there's many others that they never made the news. So when you hear about departments of corrections, they don't correct anything. Don't get it twisted, and don't get fooled by every time when you turn on the news, they saying that a prisoner or so-called inmate did something to one of the correction officers and all that. For the most part, a lot of that stuff the COs down there provoke a lot of this stuff by putting their hands on people, choking people, slapping people, and things of that nature. They have an issue with, abusing their authority and putting their hands on people when it's not warranted, and that right there triggers individuals to react. Sometimes the COs down on Rikers Island, they move like a big gang. Don't never get it twisted. There was a point in time where a lot of COs on Rikers Island was gang affiliated. But they ain't never really put that on. They ain't never highlight that to the media. You got to be mindful of the school to prison pipeline. Look how the schools are set up, where you have the, years ago, you used to have the school safety officers. They used to wear white shirts, gray pants, and they used to have the Board of Education patch. But now, the school safety officers are dressed the same like police, like NYPD. The metal detectors, all these different things. It's the same as it's set up. The schools are set up just how prisons are set up. Even when you're in school and the way they serve their food in the trays and everything, that's the same way it's set up in prison. So they set up school to prepare you for prison. So that's what that means. When you hear school to prison pipeline, that's all it means in context. Look at the school buses, the yellow school buses, and look at the Rikers Island corrections bus. It's the same thing, it's just a different color. So all these things, the similarities might have gone over your head, but don't let it go over your head no more. Look at this stuff. Do your research. But when I think of Kalief Browder, I remember seeing it and going through it myself. I've been jumped by COs on Rikers Island when I was an adolescent, like Kalief Browder. And although I fought back, I still remember that I could have easily been dead, because I've seen COs break people's arms and break people's legs on a regular when I was an adolescent. They used to abuse the adolescents. I remember there was times where they would have everybody, 20, 30 people, stripped butt naked and stand in line, elbow to elbow, with their hands behind their head, and their elbows touching the next man in front of them, butt naked. So these are the things you ain't gonna see on TV. So the abuse that Kalief Browder went through sits with me on a regular basis in my heart, because I can only imagine what he was dealing with each and every time. He probably thought that he was going to die when he came out of cell. I want this to resonate so that everybody can keep this in their mind and heart. This could easily be you or anybody in your family at any given time, because the system don't care about how young you are or how old you are. Only thing they care about is you coming in there and becoming job security. Because once you come in and out the prison system and become a recidivist, you only job security to them. The 3 C's: care, custody, control. They're supposed to care about you, right, while you're in their custody, but they don't give a damn about you. The custody aspect, they want you in custody so that they can secure that bag. And the control, they're going to control you by any means. We got to start getting ourselves prepared for a whole lot of stuff that's going on right now. Remember this, remember that name, Kalief Browder. Share this with your family, but just keep his name in your mind and your heart at all times. And remember, there are others just like him that died in that system that's supposed to protect them, but they died. Kalief Browder came home and committed suicide, but he died in the system. Mentally and emotionally, he was already dead when before he was released. But we also want to look at the ones and think about the ones that died in Rikers Island. There's many individuals that died in the departments of corrections, but they lied and told the family that their loved one was killed by other prisoners. But that's not what happened. They were killed by officers, and officers blame other prisoners for doing it. On my channel, you're going to get nothing but the truth. I was one of the individuals that was going to City Hall with young people 18 to 24, letting it be known we trying to shut down Rikers. So when I speak, I'm speaking from experience and what I know. I deal with facts only. It's no more the blind leading the blind. It's time to real take over this thing and start putting the truth on the table. Pay attention to this and really watch carefully. And remember, let that name, Kalief Browder, in a life for others that lost their life in that system, let it be in your heart, because it could be anybody you love at any time. Your son, daughter, niece, nephew, grandson, granddaughter could just walk out. Oh, I'll be right back. I'm going to the store, and never come back. Police then grabbed them up and charged them with something they didn't have nothing to do with. I'm telling you this because it happened to me before. When my mother sent me to the store, and she wondered what the hell happened. Where am I when she got the call from the police that I was down at the police station? She know I ain't do nothing. Well, the store was right down the block. Just watch this right here.
And I'm the mother of Kalief Browder. Kalief was on his way home. A police car stopped, and I'm assuming the guy who made the complaint was in the car and told the police that Kalief had robbed him of a backpack. Kalief kept saying, I don't know this guy, I didn't rob him. He was told that they were gonna just go to the precinct to kind of sort things out. Well, that sorting out took 3 years. We went to court. We had a legal aid. And the legal aid told me from the beginning that it was a BS case. He said, don't worry about it, it's a BS case. But meanwhile, my son is being held at Rikers. He would tell me things when I would visit him about being beat. He told me, Ma, I gotta fight. If I don't, they're gonna think I'm soft. I gotta fight. All it did for Kalief was get him in more trouble and more days in solitary. Imagine being locked up 23 hours a day. This is your life. 4 walls, that's it. He couldn't take it. They told him, we're gonna break you. That's what they told my baby, that they're gonna break him. And in reality, they did. At first, you could see he was relieved, that he was home, he could do what he wanted. He started Bronx Community, and he was doing okay, but then, he was really out of it, and he couldn't keep it up. He quit. He felt that everybody was out to get him. Everybody was a police plant. He stopped speaking to friends. He would get real angry. And then there were times where he would this look would come over him, and he would just like stare. It was a Saturday morning. It was just me and Kalief, and I hear him upstairs doing all this moving around, and I'm like, maybe Kalief is positioning the furniture to get comfortable. I didn't pay attention, because when Kalief is upset, he paces. Then all of a sudden, I heard this boom. I run upstairs. I didn't see anything. I ran into the next room, and the air conditioning cover was kicked out, and I just saw something hanging. I ran back downstairs, and as I opened the backyard door, Kalief was hanging there. I miss my son.
Kalief's brother, alongside his other siblings, rushed out into the community, letting everyone know that they will not just stand there and just let what happened to their brother be in vain. The community came together and unified with the family to seek justice and to also bring awareness that reform is needed, and needed immediately. Kalief Browder, his life will not be in vain, and the youth that come after him will understand he died for them.
There was no backpack, actually. To our understanding, there was no person, because they said that person that they couldn't find for 3 years, that person was then deported.
When he came home, obviously he was different than when he had left. They like to say paranoid, and I don't like to use the word paranoid. When you're being attacked constantly, or when you're being tortured repetitively, it's not a paranoia, it's a fear, it's a justifiable fear. The guy that beat up Kalief on video, he lied on paper and said Kalief tried to escape. He had mittens on, handcuffed at the hands and feet. How was he escaping? He had to be 130 pounds, and he's only 5'4". He is not a threat, nowhere near it.
Many go in the system one way and come out totally different. The system failed Kalief. The system failed Kalief. like it failed many others in the past. Departments of corrections are more like corruption. A corrupt system that left this mother with many sleepless nights, to a point where she no longer wanted to live once her son took his life. Months after Kalief's death, Vanita died.
I would say I committed suicide about 5 or 6 times.
Okay, you attempted suicide 5 to 6 times?
Yes.
While still in prison?
Yes.
Wow.
And I tried to resort to telling the correction officers that I wanted to see a psychiatrist or a counselor, something. I was telling them I need mental help because I wasn't feeling right. All the stress from my case, everything was just getting to me, and I just couldn't take it. I just needed somebody to talk to. I needed to just I just needed to talk and be stress-free.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode on JAH-ACE TV. Please like, share, and subscribe.